All right, welcome back to the channel. So in this video, it's your boy Fanon, by the way, and in this video, we're going to talk about another major excuse dropped by Teofimo Lopez for why he lost to George Kambosos. This time he has several doctors on his side and it sounded very, very serious. However, still mighty hypocritical for him even to be sharing it, since he called Deontay Wilder such a itch for doing the very same thing. But let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. We're going to talk about the lightweight division. Teofimo Lopez, who got thoroughly beat up by George Kambosos, is giving yet another excuse for why he lost that fight. This time, it's something that is much more severe than other things that he had said, and it's actually being backed up by doctors, similar to somebody else who Teofimo Lopez called a female dog for making excuses for why he lost. But let's go through what Teofimo Lopez and his team, himself and his team of doctors, are saying. They're saying he could have died for sure. That is Linda Dahl, a otolaryngologist with surgical privileges at 3 prestigious Manhattan hospitals. She says how he breathed, I can't even explain to you. It's like somebody tied a 300-pound set of weights around his chest, like his neck and chest were in a vice. That's how he fought. He's lucky not to be dead, says Dr. Peter Constantino, the executive director of the New York Head and Neck Institute. He said, man, I mean, really lucky that he's not dead. He said he's lucky he's not dead. I mean, really lucky. And according to Lopez's medical record, the 24-year-old former undisputed champion was diagnosed with some long name that sounds like pneumonia, which was extensive air in his chest space by emergency room doctors during a post-fight visit to Bellevue Hospital in New York. The air surrounding his chest and the wall of his heart and his neck, places where air is not supposed to be. If he was hit in his neck or chest a certain way in a certain place, he could have developed a collapsed lung. He would have instantly been down and unable to breathe and needing a chest tube. So essentially what they're saying is, and then in the same article, Teofimo Lopez is saying that his father wanted to take him to the hospital, before the fight actually began. But he said no, because he knew that he had been paying people, for like the last 9 months, and he thought it would be very expensive. He said, if I go to the hospital, the fight is going to be canceled, so I wouldn't be able to make the fight, and that would cost a lot of money, cause a lot of problems. So he went on, so he was a trooper, and he went on ahead with the fight. So that is the new, and look, I don't have any doubt, no reason to doubt that these people are telling the truth. However, coming from Teofimo Lopez in the same scenario where Deontay Wilder said that he had medical records, this said that he had dents in his head. He showed a picture of dents in his head. And Teofimo Lopez said that he was a bitch for making those excuses. You're supposed to just tighten up, be a man, not share that type of stuff. Take your loss like a man and move on. And that is nothing like what Teofimo Lopez has done. So although I would like to feel sorry for the man, it's his own brass and obvious hypocrisy that makes me feel a little bit hesitant in doing this, because even if it's true, according to him and many other fans that jumped on any other fighter for saying that either they had a hurt shoulder or something like that, it's nothing but an excuse. Now, I want to say this, though. I definitely did see something in an interview that took place between Ellie Sethpak and Teofimo Lopez the night of the fight, right before the fight. And it did seem like Teofimo Lopez was moving very slowly. It did seem like he didn't have a lot of energy, right? So, there very well may be a lot of truth to this. And, as a result, if he gets over his health problems for his next fight, then he'll be in a better position. So maybe what he should do is batten down the hatches and try to have a rematch. Try to have a rematch with George Kambosos, but that's not what he's doing. He's taking that. He's saying that that he is moving on up to 140 pounds because he can't make the weight anymore. And also, if this was just the only excuse that he gave, maybe I could cut him a break. But his father saying that DAZN had robbed him for the fight, and if they would have won the fight, if the fight was on the top ranked card, how, he had won every single round of the fight, even though he had been dropped in the fight. It's just really, really hard to feel sorry for these guys who were just complete jerks the entire time to other fighters the entire time that they had that they were the undisputed champion, of the world. Now, it's interesting how in this article they call him the undisputed champion of the world. I personally would not don't think Teofimo Lopez was ever undisputed. I really believe that Devin Haney, because he has the WBC belt, has a real claim to being a champion in that division. But that really calls into question whether or not, the WBC has a right to determine which one of their belts is really their belt. If it's the WBC that is sanctioning the fights, WBC is the one that gets to say, who their number one champion is. And they were saying that's the guy with the franchise belt. Now that Teofimo Lopez lost to George Kambosos, now it's George Kambosos, but it's just all up in the air, man, with the WBC. Can't stand how they did that to him. But anyway it goes, Teofimo Lopez is not undisputed champion. Now, he's not a champion at all, and I doubt very much if a lot of people are really going to give him any type of credit or any type of consideration for the way that he, for what, if he's telling the truth, he should be applauded to. Because look, man, if you cannot breathe, if you have extra air around your heart and around your lung, and if you get hit on, I guess what they're saying is if you get hit on that air pocket, that air pocket could have made his lung collapse. If his lung collapsed, he would have been sitting there on the ground, and they would have eventually, I believe they probably would have had to have a ventilator right there available for him, and that means that he could have died. Now, if you ask why it wasn't found before the fight, the person that examined him, the doctor was interviewed who actually examined Teofimo Lopez, and he said, look, man, in the pre-fight examination, I could not pick up on that. You would have had to have some type of x-ray or a CAT scan or something like that available to have picked up, and seen the air pockets that were in the chest of Teofimo Lopez. So obviously, and this is, I do believe this is this is ABC News that did the investigation on this, that did the article. So, there's no reason to believe that this is completely a scam, drawn up by Teofimo Lopez. Because they interviewed the doctors that examined him. They interviewed the doctor, who examined him, in the pre-fight and said, why couldn't you pick this up? And he gave a reason for why he wouldn't have been able to pick it up. Presumably they have the x-rays and all of that available for the fight, for the deal. So, maybe we should excuse Teofimo Lopez for this loss. Not going to work, man. It's not going to work. But if it's true, man, that guy really had a rough go of it in 2021. COVID holding the fight up for so long, and then to have another asthma related issue. And now he said what he believed, Teofimo Lopez, he thought going into the fight it was just his asthma. They had asthma, and that was the tightness of breath and all of that stuff. He attributed just to the asthma. So, for all intents and purposes for him, he just thought he had asthma. He didn't consciously make a decision to go in there and risk his life because he didn't know. But anyway, that's my take on the situation. I feel for the young guy, but, he talked himself into a corner on that one. You know what I mean? He wasn't trying to hear it about Vasily Lomachenko and his injured shoulder. Wasn't trying to give Vasily Lomachenko a rematch. He pretty much treated the injury for Vasily Lomachenko like it was an excuse. So, hey, man, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. That's my take on the situation. Make sure you hit that like button if you've listened all the way to the end of into the video. And also, just so you guys know, the people that watch, we have a new sponsorship coming up on the channel, and I'll let you know there's going to be some rewards and prizes for people that actually make it to the end of these videos and leave comments related to it. So make sure you continue to keep checking out the channel. And with that, I'm out. Peace.